the offense is spreading the ball around. 9 people got touches like that last night. I like the way we're using Prochet, even though some people expected more from him, but he is what he is. What do you think about the Ravens spreading the ball around so much?
I mean, it's definitely a good look. I mean, what year does it remind you of? The most historic year of Lamar's career, 2019. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, we kept on talking. We've been talking about it since the all season. We have a mid-tier wide receiver group, whether it's the tight ends, whether it's the running backs. I mean, let's be honest, the running backs were mid. Kenyon Drake has started coming alive. I mean, I'm happy for it. I think I was a little bit more disappointed that Mike Davis wasn't seeing the field as much because we brought him in. He was like, "Whoa, Mike Davis has been working in certain systems, and he looked good in the off in the preseason." So, I definitely expected to see more of him. But I mean, we brought in, some mid tier running backs. We got Justice Hill. He finally started running north and south. Um, yes, we had maybe two of arguably the best pass catchers come out the draft 3 years ago with Devin Duvernay and James Prochet. But finally Devin Duvernay has been finally utilized as a full wide receiver, and James Prochet, yes, he's coming back from an injury, but still, he's not even being utilized. I mean, it's the only thing we can remember now from last year when he had 7 catches and 70 yards and went inactive the next game. So I mean, it's good to see that Lamar Jackson is just doing what he has to do in order to put this offense in the best position, and these are the guys that he's working with.
Yeah, it's going to be. I mean, you look at the best dynasty the NFL has ever seen, and that would be the New England Patriots. They had Tom Brady. They had Rob Gronkowski. You know, they've
Wes
had Wes
Welker.
Welker. They had Randy Moss. They had,
Who was the lacrosse player? Hogan, Logan.
Kevin Hogan. Not
Yeah,
Kevin Hogan. Chris Hogan. Kevin Hogan, Stanford legend. Chris Hogan. They've had so many guys that they've had, and there were weeks where Gronk didn't get targets. There
mm-hmm.
were weeks where they weren't trying to feed Randy Moss. There were weeks where Welker wasn't getting the ball, where Edelman wasn't getting the ball. There were weeks where they ran the ball 40 times. People complained about Deflategate, and Tom Brady threw the ball. Like, they ran the ball like over 40 times in the game of Deflategate. Like, they weren't even throwing the ball, and everyone was complaining. And they won by 30 points.
Yeah,
Because they just ran the ball the entire game. It's not like Tom Brady threw it 55 times. He did that because Bill Belichick understands matchups. And that is his entire goal. That is how the Patriots are able to be so successful, even without Brady. And people may be like, well, they're not winning Super Bowls. Okay, yeah, they're not winning Super Bowls. Their roster kind of sucks. But right now they have a winning record with Mac Jones, who I believe is a bottom 10 quarterback in the NFL. He's not good. They don't have good wide receivers. They have, I would probably say, bad running backs. I have nothing against Ramondre and Damian Harris, but they're not great. But he goes out there, and there's some games where he goes, all right, we're going to exploit this matchup, and it's going to be the tight ends. We're going to exploit the wide receivers. We're going to hit the deep ball this week. Hey, we're going to run the ball 45 times because it's a windy game, or it's in the snow, or it's in the heavy rain. That's what he does. That, I believe, is what the Ravens are going to be doing. We saw it a couple weeks ago. Mark Andrews against, I believe, the Cleveland Browns. 0 receptions. It's like, what do you mean? Mark Andrews got no receptions? The Ravens must have lost. No. They ran the ball. That was how they were going to win that game, was running the football. And Lamar Jackson, I want to say, threw it 16, 17 times. He did not throw the ball very much. People criticize Lamar for that. I don't know how they criticize Lamar for not throwing the ball more when that's the offensive coordinator calling run plays. But this game, it was, we're going to run the ball and control the clock. And Lamar missed some throws. Some receivers, some tight ends, they missed some receptions. But overall, it was, hey, we're gonna run the ball and we're going to control the clock and we're going to win this football game. And that's exactly what they did. But if they go up against teams that have a really good run defense, like when the Ravens went up against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and they expected the run defense to be really good, they threw the ball 30 times in the first half. And then they went, okay, never mind, this isn't working. Let's go back to the run. Then they ran the ball very well in the second half. But there's going to be weeks where Lamar throws the ball a ton because that's what the matchup says to do. Maybe that's what they do against the Cincinnati Bengals. I don't know. Maybe that's what they do against the Carolina Panthers or the Falcons or whatever team it is. they're going to play the matchups. And most matchups will say, hey, run the ball and be conservative and control the clock.
Yeah, can't agree with that anymore, man. I mean, we talk about making adjustments. I mean, they use Gregory Roman usually comes out with his game plan. Sometimes he don't change it. Sometimes he do. Sometimes it worked for us. Sometimes we just be. Sometimes we like a car that's trying to get out of a mudslide, and we just keep on, being stuck. Digging a hole deeper for ourselves, man. So, I give Gregory, his props every now and then, but I still feel like he needs to be sent to one of these high schools to run the type of offense that he does. Shout out to him, helping us get a touchdown. He gave us some plays so we can get a touchdown in the fourth quarter. I don't remember the last time we scored in the fourth quarter.
That's true.
I don't remember the last time we was like really scoring in the second half, to continue the lead, to keep the lead growing. I mean, I'm just saying.
Yeah, I mean, Greg Roman's going to do exactly what Greg Roman does, and that is try and play the matchup, and sometimes it'll be spreading the ball around. Sometimes it'll be, heavy Mark Andrews focus. Sometimes it'll be, hey, let's get Duvernay involved and let's run quick screens. Tampa Bay, I think we had 6 or 7 targets to Demarcus Robinson on quick throws. Like, it's really going to change week to week. So my biggest advice is don't expect big numbers from Ravens fantasy perspective. Like, don't start Duvernay. Like, the only guy, you can start Mark Andrews because he's a beast. You can start Lamar, but I wouldn't risk starting Gus Edwards. I wouldn't risk starting Kenyon Drake. I wouldn't risk starting DeMarcus or Deshaun Jackson, or they could have big weeks, but they could also have one catch, no catch games. Because that's how this offense is.